Folks, welcome back to the iHealth channel, the ABC network, the podcasters channel, the whole network here with your host, Working Age. New day, new show, a topic that never ends and that we need more of. Every day is a good day to talk mindset and nutrition and wellness and overall health. And of course, with me, I have someone who coaches about my mindset and who talks about nutrition, who helps people basically, get better, build muscle, you name it. So we're gonna have some fun today with that, and that those are topics that I think everybody is always interested in hearing and listening to. So without any further ado, I have with me Chris Caravasanos. Did I say it right now?
Perfect. That was
Okay, good.
perfect.
All right, good, good. That
Thank
that
you for
was
having me on the show.
that was a difficult one, but I passed the test, I guess. Well,
Yeah,
listen.
that was good though. You nailed it.
All right, Chris, appreciate it. Thank you, man. Well, so Chris, I mean, this is a business where we all need some help with. I mean, mindset is a big deal, and it makes a big difference in someone how to think about things, right? The more you switch your mindset in the positive way, the more results manifest. The more you get stuck in some old ways or not in a positive trend, you will have whatever you set to have, right? I mean, if your mindset is negative, everything else is going to start not going your way. Oh my god, this is happening, right? So before we get into all that, I know you had your own experience, so let's talk about Chris's experience and what got him to coaching today.
So I basically struggled with confidence from up to the age of about 16 years old. So 16 years old is when I discovered the barbell in my basement. I was a baseball player from the age of 4 to the age to about 17, 18 years old. Um, I had a massive self-esteem issue. I'm naturally very skinny, and but I discovered the barbell, and that was like my own sanctuary. That was like my way to kind of unleash this energy that I had. And as time went on, I slowly fell more in love with just weightlifting and just becoming my own person in this other area. Um, and the problem was I didn't have enough confidence to speak up and be like, I don't want to play baseball anymore. I was MVP in high school, batting over 500, team captain, starting shortstop, this and that, right? Whatever. But I didn't, I also felt guilty because everyone saw me as this baseball guy. And I couldn't speak up for myself because of my lack of confidence. And I was training like a bodybuilder while I was playing baseball. I was trying to put on size, I was gaining weight, my body was changing, and this was hindering my ability to play ball. And I didn't really give a shit. Like I was just trying to get bigger because that made me feel better. So that's kind of where I was going with it. And um, I had never gotten cut. Like I had never gotten cut from a team. And I tried out for my college team, and I actually I bombed the tryout. Like it was just atrocious. And I got cut. I didn't make the team. And I was like, wow, and I had two options. I could keep going down this lie that I was living, or I could be like, you know what, this is my way out. So what I did was I decided to make that my way out. And I actually had a turning point though, leading up to me getting cut. And that turning point was when, because I had struggled with my confidence, I was around the wrong group of people. They were getting into trouble with, robbing stores that were in our neighborhood, drinking alcohol, and just not taking care of themselves. And one night I got off of my work shift and I had nothing in my system. And we went to a nearby park and we were just drinking heavily. And I did not belong in this crowd of people, but because I struggled with finding my place and my confidence, I just went along with it and I got plastered. And I actually passed out on someone's lawn. My friends left me there. I wake up, I'm like, where the hell am I? What am I doing with my life? Why am I doing this to myself? All because I was struggling with my mindset. And it took me to go through that in order to be like, I need to change. I'm never doing this again. And I'm going to start doing shit for me. And this led me down this personal development rabbit hole. And I was just like, this feels so good because I actually know that I was going down this other avenue that was causing me so much pain with catering to what other people saw me as, even though I hated it. And I was trashing my body to escape that reality. Because ultimately, that's why we have problems binge eating, doing drugs, and drinking alcohol, right? No one really loves food to the point where they just can't stop eating. No, they can't stop eating because they're escaping that problem, that pain, that reality that they're living in, that they're allowing. And it's 100% your fault. And in order to elicit change in your life, you have to admit it's your fault. So when I went through that, I was like, I need to stop being a bitch in this area. I need to wake up and I need to start taking accountability for my own actions. And then once I started doing that, it just got better and better and better. And if you guys go on my Instagram, chris.caravousanos, it's my name, you guys will see on my story, I document the non-negotiable positive acts that I have to do every single day. And I show you guys this because those actions, the getting up early, the reading and reflection, I always have a positive quote book that I'm reading. Right now I'm reading Art of Living by Epictetus. I get up early, I open up this book, I read a page or two, and I'll write a quick paragraph of what I gathered from that page. After I do that, I hit the gym. After I do that, I'm good. Chris is good for the day. I strengthened my mind. I collected wins, and I'm ready to attack the day. And I bring that energy to my girlfriend. I bring that energy to my family. I bring that energy to everybody. If I don't get those things done, I'm going right back to that fucking kid who was drinking alcohol, covering up his own emotions, escaping his reality. And I'm beating that fucking guy every single day. And that's why I can use that pain that I went through to stem into my growth every single day. Because I just go right back. Because the only thing that's changed is my actions. Like, you guys can change your life if you just change your actions. You don't have to talk about it. You don't even have to look the part. It's what you do. And I think that's a very big problem nowadays. And that was my biggest problem. I was like, I'm going to do this, this, this. Okay, but are you doing it? Are you living it? No. So that was the biggest thing for me.
Well, Chris, there's quite a bit there. I mean, we can go for a couple hours right now just breaking that stuff down. But so I'm gonna go back to this the original story. I mean, first of all, you're 16, man. I think you've demanded too much of yourself early on, but that's a good trait because that's what got you where you are today. You were aware. You got aware early on. 16 for a lot of kids, today. That's like, I'm just having fun. I don't care about the world. The world owes me, and I'm cool with that. Uh, but you started already like seeing that. Now you had something going for you. I mean, baseball is a cool thing. I mean, if you can make a career out of it, I mean, and you were good. But you stated that you had this self confidence problem. Now I want to just spend some time on that one because when you say you have self confidence, were you not able to? I mean, you're playing in a game, you're playing with a team. I mean, you are out there. It's not like you're normally someone who's not self confident is really shy, timid, hiding, and not in the face of anything. They don't know, they don't think they can do anything, so they wouldn't even bother with being on a team or anything. But you did. So why did you think that you had self confidence issues at that time? Just curious because for someone that's listening, they might be like, well, I'm I I'm doing all this. I'm confident I can do this. That's why I'm doing it. So what is that point where you felt really that you just like that confidence in yourself where you but you just stated that you were actually working and playing and doing good.
Yeah. So what happened was I played baseball from the age of 4. I always played 2.5 years above my age, which is great. And you're right. To the average person, they're like, yeah, but that means you are confident.
Mhm.
But the thing is I lacked the ability to do things that were for myself because at 4 years old, I was playing this sport. And as much as I was excelling, doesn't necessarily mean that that's what I want to do with my life. So just because you're good at doing this one thing doesn't mean you have to do that thing, right? So we all have inside of us a conscience, which is basically, I say it's the authentic voice of God, it's the universe, whatever you believe in. We are all being spoken to. And I didn't see myself doing that over the course of my life as I got older. And I had this switch in me and it was like I need to become a stronger individual because I'm still having anger issues with my relationships. I'm still having anger issues with my immediate family, even though I am good at baseball and you guys are seeing me do this and excel and this and that, to you, I'm doing good. But how about me? How about how I feel? Because I'm the one that has to wake up every single morning, look at myself in the mirror, and be happy about what I'm seeing. And it takes, and the thing is a lot of this can be misconstrued. In order to be, this is what I've discovered because in my relationships, I've had a lot of issues, but that was mainly because of who I was. In order to be selfless, you have to be selfish. So, in order for me to be a better person for my family, right, my husband, my wife, I have to be a better man. How do you be a better man? You have to be proud of yourself. How do you be proud of yourself? Well, who's the person that I look up to? When I was a little kid and I used to watch action movies, I would look at the main character. He was jacked, right? He had tats. He he was just very, very respectful to other people. He had integrity. He had all these things. And I was like, I want that. He was not a baseball player. He was these guys that were just like, he was a good, solid man. That's it. He was in great shape. He did these things for himself. After he did those things, he gave to others. And that's all I wanted. But this was a very big lesson for me because it allowed me to be like, I need to do what's best for me. And then once I'm doing what's best for me, now I could be more present in life. Like, I was not present during those times. I was trying to escape my reality, hence the drinking, hence the being around people that I didn't really want to be around. And when you're at a young age, you're more prone to these things. And we're all supposed to make mistakes, right? That's part of our path of learning and becoming a better person. Some people it lasts a little bit longer, right? In the college years. I did like a year of college. I didn't even like that wasn't really my thing, but um, I discovered these things early on because I was being screamed at from the inside of Chris, you can't be with these people. Chris, you shouldn't be drinking like this. Like, Chris, you really should quit baseball and do what's best for you, the thing that you know you want to do. Like, just fucking do it. And but the thing was I couldn't because I lacked confidence. So once I started doing what's best for me, getting up early, working out, hitting my macros, I felt so much better about who I was. Once I did that, I was like, all right, now that like baseball is not working out, I'm just going to leave now. I left baseball. Oh, I also want to be a trainer, got certified. Oh, I want to start online coaching. Started doing that. Oh, I don't deserve this relationship. I'm out. I'm doing what's best for me. Why? Because I have the confidence in myself. You guys have to look out for you first. Then you can give to other people. If I'm in a relationship and I suck, if I'm fat and out of shape, I can't give that much to you. I could say that I love you, this and that, but if I'm not good as a man, I'm very limited at what I could do for you. I think of it as like giving someone a poor Christmas gift. If I'm in a relationship and I'm good, like I'm ripped and I feel good in my own eyes, you're going to be getting a much better gift, if that makes sense.
It does. So a couple of things that and thank you for clarifying because I think what it is, and you're right, people do get into this loop. I would call it loop because they just got stuck into it, for whatever reason, they got put into it. Now, I know now for a fact, based just what you said, maybe you can correct me, but uh, the idea you didn't choose to be in baseball, you were put into baseball, and you kind of went into baseball, and it became just that thing that you did because it felt good for everybody else. A perception that you were doing it and you were good at it, but that's not what drove you. That's not what got you motivated in the morning. And you were lacking that. You were realizing that that's not me, but why am I doing it? That's not me, but why am I doing it? And
I have to
eventually,
clarify, but
yeah.
one thing is
Mm.
because I didn't choose it when I was that young, obviously, I kept playing over the years. And in order for me to have peace with those experiences, because I am grateful for them, number one, because they make me who I am today. But number two is that's how you actually move on, is you have to have what's called acceptance. You have to accept what has happened and then move on from it. But I was choosing to go those years not leaving. That was all me because of the lack of confidence. And then once I was able to admit that, now I'm in the driver's seat. Now I could say, okay, it is because of me. So now I could start doing things to better myself. Right? It's not my family's fault. It's my fault for even continuing to do these things. But why is it happening? Why is it so hard? Because I am not confident in my own self. I'm afraid of failing. I have this other thing that I'm good in that's very hard for me to fail in, right? But I don't want to go and do these things that I love because I'm afraid of failing and looking like a failure. So I had to break that, and owning up to it was the biggest thing.
Oh, the path of least resistance. You were there. It was comfortable. You were just doing it,
Right,
and that's the end of it. So, but
right,
you're right. That was not fulfilling. That was not who you really wanted to be. But it was just cool. I can do this,
right.
and I'll just keep going with emotions. And that's exactly. And then for the perception of the public, like, wow, this guy's got it made. He's good at what he's doing, and you're right. That can give, like, for me, if I saw you, I'll be like, wow, this guy is gonna make it big in the baseball, and he's full of confidence. But you're right. The confidence is not so much about that. It's about everything else about yourself that you were missing. And you had to wake up to it literally and face it, which you did. That's another thing. I mean, not everybody sometimes wakes up early on to actually face the truth and reality of who they really want to be, because sometimes, as you said, we can go further in life, and sometimes people find, and by the way, there's no time limit. You can go as long as you need to, and you just have to wake up one day, hopefully, and realize
We'll
before
never
it's
get
too
out of
late.
it.
Exactly, before it's too late. Because sometimes you're right. You get in the cycle, sucked in, and you're not going to see the difference anymore. It becomes you. But you said a few things that are powerful. Is that first you had to build that confidence in yourself, and you looked at yourself in the mirror. See, that's the thing. Like, it's what people are seeing and what you're seeing. You knew that that's not you. This is not how you want it to look or how you want it to feel, and that's not the purpose of life that you chose for yourself. And therefore, you needed to make an end of it. And then it didn't help that you've experienced, I would say, by the way, a lot of us do experience those things. Sometimes the wrong audience or the wrong entourage. And, they're basically there, but they're not there. They're just there for a quick moment, but they're not truly there for you. And they're not going to be there for you a long time. They're just fly by night, crowds that you hang out with. And we all have them. I mean, we've all been there.
Right.
I mean, as you age, you would probably reflect, anyone watching or listening right now, you would
I
think
think
that.
that
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
feel like, but some people, like even guys in their 30s, like I have clients. I had a guy who was he's like 34. He was going out with his boys, but his boys drank a lot, right? 34, right? Forget age, but that's how old he is. He would tell me like that he is peer pressured by this. Like they're his buddies, he's been friends with them for a long time, but he's surrounded by this group of people, but he can't break out of that. Now, it's nothing against people who drink and like smoke weed but the main thing is if you're trying to better yourself and you are not able to do that because of the people you're hanging around, then you really have to limit the time that you're spending with these people, because I had to get good with me first because I can be very affected and influenced by the people that I surround myself with. Like, and I think a lot of us can without even realizing it. And I feel like because of that reason, we really have to be aware of, especially in the beginning, as time goes on. Like, I'm at a point now where if I'm surrounded by people drinking, it happens all the time. Like when I'm at a family event or something, I'm able to be like, I'm fine, like I'm good here. Um, but in the beginning, that's why I'm saying, especially, is because you don't have that skill yet. That's why I say you got to be disciplined and strict in the beginning to build that ability to say no. Then, as you progress, as you get better, as you develop that discipline, then you could start to be around those people and be like, yeah, all right, yeah, I could do this. Why? Because you're good with you. Right now, you're not good with you in the beginning. That's why you're still self sabotaging.
Well, you're in
So,
control. That so you get you're at the
yes,
helm. You're in charge now. But you're right. Like a lot of us, again. I mean, 34. That's a mid age, and still fairly new age. Listen, I'm in the 50s. I can tell you, I've been there, done that, and it is a difficult task. Sometimes to balance, like, friends, and gauge who they really are and what they really kind of contribute to your life. Right? If they're just contributing nothing, but drinking and just BS stuff. That listen, fun is nothing wrong. I'm not against the fun part. It's just like you, but if it's not going to be constructive to my life and my goals and objectives, that's not really the crowd I want to hang
There's no
on,
point.
with. And eventually, you just basically remove yourself from that. And that's really when you have true power, is that you can remove yourself from any situation that doesn't contribute
Ah,
to your wealth. You know,
yes.
and you can, but again, you've developed that early on. Unfortunately, not everybody can do that, and but it takes one thing: being aware, being awake to it. Like, what the hell? And you said it. You were not who you wanted to be, and you realize that this is. I got to make some drastic changes. And I can tell you this, based on what I hear right now, the fact that you went to college and flunked that whole audition or whatever the play, what the tryouts, I don't think that's actually. I think it was done intentional by your subconscious because you already didn't want it. When you don't want something, we know when we know we can succeed, but yet you don't do anything because it's not something you want. You by default don't give the best. You're not gonna be 100%. You're just gonna give
Hmm.
20%, and you make believe that you're doing it because deep inside of you, that's really what you really wanted. You didn't want to go there, and you did that not because it. So most people were like, what the hell's wrong with this dude here? But what you did is really what you wanted. You wanted to get an out, and that was your ticket out. Like, this is it. I'm out of here, done.
Hmm.
And that forced you to really, restart your page. Your new chapter begins now, and without baseball in it, so therefore there's no distraction because that was your distraction. And
That
so
was it. Yeah.
I really, I mean, it's amazing that, but I have to admire that you're still young, and this happened at an early age, and you were able to do this. Not again, I want to reiterate the fact that this is not for everybody at all times, And so listening to your show today, to this discussion with you, I think a lot of young people would probably, realize like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm in the same position here. I'm doing the same thing. What the hell? I need to wake up and smell the beans here, the coffee, whatever, and just kind of like, get a new chapter and start a new life for me. And you're right. You mentioned being selfish first, before you can be selfless. It's not really selfish. It's just being taking care of you. You're it. You got to take care of the business here of who you are in order for you to be able to deliver to everybody around you and do better for everybody else and deliver, good. Because if you're damaged, you're not going to be good to anyone, right?
I think
And
it's
so
a good thing. Yeah. It's not bad. Like, I
it's
feel like
not.
people
Yeah.
get offended by that. Like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be selfish. Like, I don't want, and it's like, who just like take care of yourself? It's the same shit. Just like prioritize yourself. Like, stuff. I feel like people, they overthink things too much. It's like, keep things simple. Just, if you guys just changed what you did on a daily basis, like if you just got up an hour earlier, if you got up like half hour to an hour earlier and you dedicated like 20 to 30 minutes just to be with yourself, and then you just opened up a positive quote book and you read like a couple sentences. The reason why that's so important is it instills positive messages in your brain, because in the morning we are inherently negative. I know I am. I hate life when I wake up in the morning. I do. Like, I don't want to do anything. Why? Our oxygen levels are low, and positive emotions can only exist when what oxygen is present. So we have to get oxygen into our body. I wake up, and what I actually do, the first thing is I'll do push-ups. So I'll do push-ups as many as I can. You'll see this on my story.
At a pump.
Um, Literally every morning, as many as I can. And then I'll sit at this desk and I'll read like a little page of this. I'll write down what I gathered from it, what I got from it. You know, after I do that, then I'll go and I'll actually do a workout. But right after I do those push-ups, I immediately like am more awake. I'm more awake and I feel better because I got up early when I could have just snoozed the alarm 5 more times, and I did the push-ups. So now I'm doing those two things, which are huge, and I'm putting positive messages into my mind. And then I'm going to the gym working out. So it's just it puts you in a good state, a good mood.
It's like a rocket booster. You get all that extra, like, power, that in the ignition power. What we, if you ever seen a liftoff, I mean, there's so much
That's it.
tremendous torque in there, and
It's
pour.
crazy.
Exactly. So you just get that nice boom,
You could change
and
your state like that.
well, it does. By the way, I love that. I do the push-ups too, and it's amazing how you feel, in the morning when you do those. That just, it's a quick pump. Your blood flows,
Yeah.
faster to you get a rush, and you feel pumped, like you're already like awake, like you're not in sleeping mode, concept here.
Right.
But you're right. But so one thing that also you did great, that got you where you are today is that self-talk. You're conscious about your position. Again, you're not sleeping behind the wheel there. You were really awake, and you were conflicted, but you fought right. And by the way, thank you for stating something that is powerful, because we don't want that to get misconstrued by people. Is that you did not blame your family and everybody else like that was their fault. It's not their fault. They did something for you. They put you into practice, which, by the way, that was good. You did great. That showed you that you can succeed, and you did, but it just was not fulfilling. And so you had to find what was
Yeah.
fulfilling for yourself. And you did. By discovering that, you just went through it, and you actually, discovered also that you had the limits with who you can hang out with, and so on. And that's actually a big point for people, especially our. By the way, there's no age limit to this. We can be at any given moment, still surrounded by the wrong crowd, and just going through the motions and not getting anything out of it. You have to decide, like, what is it that I'm looking for in my life, and at any given point you can make that. And that's really that shift, the mindset. When you start thinking, look, this is not for me, this is what I want to be, and you have to make the necessary sacrifices and switch offs. I mean, the things that are not fulfilling, you just turn them off and move away from them, and you get into what's positive for you. And by the way, there is a great feeling to that, and that's exactly what energized who you are today. And because of that, you've built this routine, you've built the system. And the other thing is that you're not just a talker. Talk is cheap, as they say, right? You talk the talk, but
Hmm.
you walk the walk. You're not like, talking about it and thinking about it, but you're not doing anything about it. You basically said, okay, this is not for me. What are the necessary steps? I'm going to get started. And you started, doing. That's it. It's
I'm
really
living.
this. The way to do things is to do them. That's it. There's no other way around it. You don't play around. You just wake up, make it
And
happen.
I'm
Yep.
glad you brought up the age thing too. Like my girlfriend's 5 years older than me. I'm pretty mature for my age. But even when I like listen to somebody, I don't pay attention to age. I look at, have they done the thing that I'm trying to do? Like if I'm trying to lose weight and my coach or the person I'm looking at to hire is, if did he lose weight on his own, then that's a good thing. But like you said, there's a lot of talk. And I was one of those people that was just like, I have these ideas and I would talk a lot. Like I have a big mouth and I would say, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing it. And the thing is that I think people don't realize is the people are watching you. Like your spouse is listening to you say these things. This is going to be my year, babe. Like I'm going to get ripped this year. Okay, you said that 3 times. Or, all right, I'm going to start going to the gym at 6 a.m. every morning before work. You're not doing that anymore. Like you have to be one of my. So there's a quote by Marcus Aurelius. He says, "Straight, not straightened." So what that means is you're never going to be straightened. You're never going to be perfect. You always have to bring yourself back. You always have to realign yourself. That's why I have my morning process. Because the days where I don't do that, you oversleep a little bit, you have to rush, throw your clothes on, wash your face, brush your teeth, rush out of the house and get to work, you feel like garbage. You haven't really sat down with yourself and gave yourself that self love. Because one of the things that I've discovered on my own is your brain is always watching you. That's where your thoughts come from. If your brain is always watching you sleep in, shut the alarm off, go out and drink, even though you hate doing it and you regret it the next day, or, binge at night, which was my biggest problem. I was a big eater. Um, your brain is going to have these thoughts that it throws at you. And it's just like, you're not enough. You're not the guy. Like, you're not going to make this relationship work, or you're not going to get that next promotion. Those thoughts are not coincidence. They are placed there to guide you, for you to look at and be like, I need to focus on these areas. Because I can tell you, my thoughts now are a lot different than how they were before I started working on myself. When I was out at the park with my buddies drinking like that, I was shitting on myself. When I woke up from passing out, I was having tears come down my face of shame and regret, because I was like, I knew. I knew that I shouldn't be doing these things. And that was the biggest thing. And you can't think your way into positive thinking. You have to act your way into positive thinking. Right? You want your brain to tell you you're a winner. You know, you got up early, you hit the gym, you hit your macros for the day. Like you did all these things. By 12 p.m., you got like 5 wins stacked up. So you can't say that you can't call me a loser. I've already done these things. So you're proving to yourself is really what it is.
That's the thing. Like a lot of us live in the idea that we want to prove ourselves to the rest of the world, but really, all you need to do is prove to yourself that
That's it.
you're worthy and that you can do things for yourself that make you feel better. And you're
Yeah.
right. These talks, we have talks all the time. Everybody that's watching and listening, doesn't matter what language you speak, you know, you're having discussions within, and so the discussions can be either bad or positive, and both of them are gonna sound good at the time because when they're bad and they're just enticing you to do things that you feel fulfilling at the moment, they're still gonna feel good. But you know that you're not feeling right. Your body is not really responsive. You think you're doing good, but you have headaches. You're not feeling good. You're vomiting. You're got stomach aches. You're not in a good place. You're like you said, you binge food when you eat a lot. You got all these stomach problems. You have cramps. Is that really the so you're going to have these discussions and you got to start questioning and the thing is really like the bulb is going to like turn on, just that you take action is what makes a difference. Really the difference is you take a stand. This is it. This is the moment. And you said the key word. There's a turning point in everybody's life. Now we can have something manifest that is a big event that makes it a turning point, or we can be just like, no, this is it. I'm done. It's over. I'm going to make a difference in my life. I want to be a different person. I want to be the person I really want to be. And you're right. You looked up to these people. Like to your point, you watched these movies and you knew who you wanted to look like or to feel like. And so it's just a matter of like, how do I transit from who I am today to that? And again, but it takes you being self-aware, build the character that's going to be disciplined, and that's exactly what you develop is discipline. That's the other thing. Without discipline, there's nothing.
Right.
You need to be able to do things. Consistency, is a key, as they say, consistently doing the same thing over and over and build up a rhythm, a momentum, and a discipline for doing things that make you better. And we all need to do that. By the way, I'm talking, but I have the same struggles like everybody else. It is difficult to maintain, but you guess what? You have to be consistent in business, in person, in life, in your love life. All of it is the same. The minute you're not giving it, all these steps and really taking the actions that are necessary, you're not going to be successful in any of the above. So you just got to do the right thing. But again, it's not easy. Now, Chris, was there a time where you felt depressed at this, when you were, having this conflict
Conflict with what?
within yourself? Like, where you were like, this is not me and I want to change. Did that ever get into a depression mode?
Oh yeah, like when I first started on this personal development journey, I this is kind of something because I invested in mentors too for myself, and the number one thing that I remember is it's hard to start in the beginning, but then you reach a point where you can't stop. You can't stop. So like to a lot of you guys watching this, you may say, "Well, I can't stay disciplined year after year after year after year without breaking." I don't know how you do that. I say, I don't know how you do what you do. I was at that point though. But what happened was when I started doing this, it felt so good. I never want to go back. Like, if you knew that you could do a series of tasks that would make you feel absolutely amazing about who you are, change your self talk, change your body, change your way of thinking, your perception of the world, why would you even want to go back? I used to like, I'll still have cravings with food, right? But it's so much easier to say no to them now than it was when I first started. And the reason why it's so easy to self sabotage when you're trying to do these things for yourself to better your body is because you don't like who you are at that given moment. You're saying one thing in your mind, but your actions are doing something different. That means there's a disconnect. You're not in alignment. I am at a place where I am in complete alignment with my self talk and my soul, because my thoughts, my actions, and my energy are going down the path that is going to get the result that I want, which is to become the man that I look up to, the man that I always needed. Someone that was respectful, someone that was ripped, someone that was, has that appearance, has that look. And it's not even about that. It's about having having the courage to go and do those things and being proud of yourself for going out there and doing it instead of living a lie. So the main thing is you just got to start prioritizing you. And the more you can, I mess up. Like there's days I don't get up at the exact time that I wanted to get up at. But you can't stop setting off your alarm. You have to keep trying. I wrote about it today in my post, and I said the person that fails is the person that gave up. The person who keeps
Yep.
trying, they are guaranteed a possibility of getting there. But the person who gave up, they're guaranteed to fail. You just can't stop. And as you keep doing that, you'll be like, oh, this triggers this. Like a great secret that I have for cravings is you have pickles. You get the 0-calorie pickles, you have a pickle or two, that craving goes away. But the main thing, it's just a little joke, but it does help.
I
But
love
the
I
main
love
thing
pickles.
I know, me too, I love pickles. But the main thing is when you have that temptation, you're almost waiting for it. So you almost want to, because you don't want to judge someone based on, you don't want to judge yourself based on like how you are when things are going great, when you're motivated. That doesn't matter, right? You want to judge yourself based on how you are when you're not feeling up to it, because that's a true test of your character. It's who you are when no one's watching. It's who you are when you don't feel like getting out of bed. That is a true sign of your character. This is my self-talk. This is what I say when I don't feel like doing those things. I didn't think this way when I first started. I was like, oh, I don't feel like it. I screw this. I'm just going back to sleep. Now, because it feels so good, I'm like, no, this is what a successful 10.0 version of Chris Caravousanos does. He doesn't stop. He keeps going. And we just keep going and we keep going and we keep getting better and evolving and getting better. And now my brain is saying, he does this, this, this. He gets up early. He doesn't miss. He keeps going. Chris never gives up, no matter how many times he fails. And you just keep going. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh my God, 6 months ago, I looked like that. Oh my God. And you start to think about how you used to be. And this is a true sign of growth, where the things that you used to do that seem normal to you, you could never do right now. Like I could never have 5 slices of pizza right now. I could never have like 6 glasses of wine. Like me and my girlfriend used to order Italian food and we would DoorDash. I could I could DoorDash and we could eat out. We just gotta plan it accordingly. But I can't binge eat how I used to. I would never do that. I can't. I would feel horrible. I can't even do it. It would be atrocious. Like I can't even see it. I can't feel it. I can't resonate with it. I feel so good that I can't even see myself doing that. I can't see myself not setting my alarm and getting up anywhere from 4 to 5 a.m. I used to say I'm not a morning person. I used to say I can't go to sleep unless my stomach is full. You guys have to listen to what you say to yourself, because that's allowing you to be where you are. Like I don't speak like that to myself anymore. I get up early every day and I feel great. You got to keep going.
Well, thank you, Chris. There's a few things there. First of all, I feel motivated just listen to you right now. I mean, like we all need that little reset, like a reminder. And this was a terrific, show. I mean, I'm so happy that we're having this conversation today because
Oh, I love
every
this. This is great.
every day, you keep doing, and even the best motivated people, they need sometimes to hear
Of
it again.
course.
And reinforcement is always a good thing. But what you said is a powerful thing. You're right. We get used to a certain routine, and then it's very difficult, especially like when you're ready to make the change and you're like, oh my God, this is difficult. But what happens if you start thinking about it, like, this is my new high, this is my new addiction. And really, that's what it is. You just trade one bad addiction with a better addiction that
Right.
is actually healthier for you. So if you start thinking that way, again, mindset, right? It's just looking at the 6 or 9. It's the same, depends on the angle. I'm just switching. this is my new high. I wake up in the morning, get a pump, I get a little read, that gets my brains, functioning good, get a little bit of motivation. And those are like actually they manifest through the day. If you start your day positive, your day goes well. And by the way, this doesn't fail. Anyone watching or listening, you start with a bad mood in the morning, and it's really just crampy, crappy. All the worst negative stuff is coming up. That
We
day
all
really,
need this.
yeah, we all need it. I mean, yeah, that day is not going to be good. So you can pump yourself up, as you said. Look in the mirror, and that's the thing. Self talk, be aware, and reinforce those convictions that yes, I'm going to look better. I'm going to do stuff. And you're right. Always go back to the root. Like this is where I was. This is where I am. And there's no way I'm going to go back there. And listen. I have a story personally that I've had years back where I gave myself a year where I just didn't do it, and I binge, eat and do all the bad things, and I gained so much weight. It wasn't funny. I mean, I couldn't even breathe walking. That's how bad it was. I would never want to go back there. I know that is not something I want to experience ever in my life. So I am so cautious about it. And as you age a little bit, it gets a little difficult. But you know what? I still have the discipline. I still got to do what I got to do and maintain. It doesn't matter. And that's actually for all of us, folks. You're watching and listening. There's no one. I mean, if you get not healthy, no one is going to help you. I mean, let's face it. Again, we hear this expression all the time. Health is wealth. This is we have the iHealth channel, iHealth radio. It's all about health and wellness, folks, and fitness, nutrition is part of that. And so now that transits me. Let's talk about a little bit. You mentioned the macros. You mentioned the workouts. So let's talk about that, the role of those. I mean, we get the picture that it's important, but let's talk about what do you recommend in terms of like what works, because you talked. I mean, because we eat, like you said, like we eat a lot of stuff. We eat at night, as you said. You used to convince yourself that I can't go to sleep without an with an empty stomach. I mean, that's actually the wrong thing to do. But who knew, right? We kind of
Horrible.
like, yeah. I mean, you do eat, and you're gonna doze off. Your sugars are gonna be like all over the place. But the fact of the matter, we all did that, at a point or another, and but it's not good. So let's talk about a little bit of nutrition, and your expertise on that, and then let's talk as well as the like what works in terms of your workout, concept, so we can get a good balance between healthy. Now we got the mindset shifted, but now let's talk about what we can, do to eat healthier and work out better. Is it,
Oh
personal
yeah.
training? Is it I know you talked about barbells and stuff. Let's talk about like what that looks like in terms of a regimen for people to actually get in. Ultimately, what we want to talk about is your business, your coaching, and how you can help people, and what does your program look like.
So the main thing is the first thing in my program is you need to drop all vices, and that's what we work towards. So the things that you do in the moment that are pleasurable that end up you regret later on, right? That's what a vice is. So the first thing is we have to develop your ability to say no, right? To that vice. So we have to instill discipline in you. I don't really like, I'm not one of these coaches that is, you could eat your favorite foods and you're going to get that result. I don't go that route because that route does not work for me. Now that doesn't mean that I don't eat my favorite foods. What I'm saying is in the beginning stages, right? Because there's different stages along this personal development journey. The first stage is we have to develop your ability to say no. And the way we do that is we have to instill discipline by getting you to be in uncomfortable situations. So, mainly, the most biggest problem with people is their nutrition, right? That's the area that really they have the most trouble in, right? They don't know how much of proteins, fats, and carbs to eat, or maybe they do, but then they can't stick to it because they feel deprived and they go and they have pizza. So the main thing is we have to have a structured workout plan. This day we hit chest, this day we hit back. I personally love the push pull legs, right? Push pull legs is fun. The reason why I like it is because when I don't have a regiment, I'm going to be like, okay, what didn't I train in the most amount of time? I'm going to train that. Or let's say I don't feel like training. All right, so I'm just going to take the day off. No, we have set days of when you're going to hit each body part. Okay, I have your calendar set up in my custom app. You're going to see that. I'm also going to have your macros dialed into a T for your body. The macronutrient breakdown is simple. Basically, want to have you eating. I usually do, with people removing fat, it's pretty standard. Everyone's a little bit different with the building of muscle part, but body weight carbs in grams, lean body mass in grams for protein, and low fat. When you guys are eating this way, it's going to help with, see, what a lot of people is they overeat. We eat very big portions. So we have to change the habit of how you eat, right? Which is a little bit shorter portions. You're eating just the right amount of food to where you are promoting muscle growth, but your body is eating its own fat. I have you on a holistic diet, right? Proteins, fats, and carbs. I don't eliminate carbs. I don't eliminate, um, fats or I keep holistic diet, right? You have each macronutrient. Um, a funny thing happened to me when I started doing this because I was very skinny and I actually bulked for like 3 years. I was petrified of cutting. That was like my roadblock, right? Because I had like my insecurities with not just my confidence, but how I visually looked because I was very skinny. So I overcompensated and bulked too much, and I got fat. I had that like stupid muffin top kind of thing. So I was one of those guys that worked out 6 days a week, but really didn't look the part. So um, I had to hire somebody to help me cut, and it was one of the best things I ever did was invest in myself, like pay for it. I that was the best thing because you guys could think you're doing something properly, but when you have a coach and let's say he gives you the same thing that you're already doing, you naturally just living your life, you have blind spots that you don't see. You have things that you're doing that you think are good, but they're really holding you back. So all it takes is a little bit of fine tweaking in certain things, and then boom, now you're off to the races. There's so many, like, that was the best thing I did because I didn't even know that I was the type of person who was like, I don't need to count my macros. I know my caloric intake, sure, but like, I don't need to dial in my macros. It was the best thing I ever learned. The best thing. I lost 17 pounds in 6 weeks and 25 pounds of fat in like 5 months. Um, got to like 9.6 digit body fat. I was like, I was up there. That was when I was eating Italian food with my girlfriend, like practically every time we hung out, drinking wine. And that instilled discipline in me because I had this habit of just eating late at night, drinking, and I had to drop that and get cut. And it was the best thing I ever did because now I have the ability to say no to things I know are not good for me. But if I want to have a glass of wine, now I'm at a point where I can plan that and be like, okay, now we're going to have a glass of wine here. I'm going to have pasta on this night. I'm just going to keep my carbs depleted and then we can go out and we can leave room for it. But you guys can't do that in the beginning because you will not be able to do it. You can't contain yourself. You guys will have the pasta and you'll be like having a glass of wine. You're like, all right, let's have another one. That's the problem with following your own program. Is because the problem is it's your own program. When you have someone else, they're holding you accountable and they're able to see what you don't see. Like my macros, I didn't even like. I had my macros and I was like, oh yeah, these are good, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like there's a strategy with how to do it. You guys should be dropping 1 to 2 pounds per week. If you're not doing it right. You're not. It shouldn't be that slow. And it shouldn't be that quick either where you lose like 20 pounds in like a week.
So, so Chris, thank you. And by the way, you've used the word accountability a few times, and I think that's a big deal, right? You have to be accountable to the actions you take and steps that you're putting yourself through. That's a big deal. So thank you for clarifying it. And by the way, when when I hear you, I mean, and everybody that's watching, listening right now, it's not really rocket science. It's a pretty simple process, but you're right. It is the transition that's difficult. Where you
Yeah.
are, and your body is so conditioned to a certain way, and all of a sudden you're gonna
So
crash that body. And but it's not. I think one of the biggest problems we have, and I think in the U.S. more than let's say in Europe. I mean, they have a different type of food concept. Even though, like you mentioned, Italian food, a bit. But if you go to Italy, they don't eat the same portions they will eat here. I
dude,
mean,
I
maybe
lost body fat. We went to Italy for our anniversary in September. I lost body fat and I was drinking wine every night and having pasta.
you see, I didn't have to say much. I mean, you just confirm. But that's really the thing, right? It's a different type of food concept we have in the U.S.
Yeah.
We basically go to a restaurant. I mean, you get a meal that a whole family can share literally in your plate. And that's the other thing. The more you have on your plate, the more you're gonna be like, I want to finish my plate. Like we all kind of were raised in the concept, finish your
You
plate,
don't
right?
need it. Right. Yeah.
You don't need it, but you usually like we. And here's the worst part: I can do it. Let me take it to go. And then there's always room for dessert. That's the other one that we hear all the time. And so you pack it up
There's no
between.
structure. You guys got to have structure. You got to be like, nope, I have to have this amount of room. That's why. That's why we'll give, because flexibility, that window of flexibility gets wider and wider and wider and wider. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'll take it to go. Yeah, I'll have this, because there's no structure. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of having it. You guys can have what you enjoy, but you have to earn it. You're not there yet. We have to get you dialed in, get your veins popping, get you feeling good, looking nice. Then when you have pasta, you'll have even more veins popping out because your body fat is so low, and your veins can, the influx of carbs can push the veins out, and you'll look better. But if you guys are bloated and you guys have too much body fat, it's not going to work. There's a certain way you got to do it.
Well, thank you. And again, you said also something that is interesting, and I've heard it over and over and over that you've invested in yourself. You also had your own coaching and mentoring to get you the help that you needed when you needed it to transit to where you are today. So again, that's an important piece. I think we all need some sort of assistance and help. And in our lives, there's always you need even the best mentors have mentors. And that's just what it is. I mean, a coach, usually has somebody that they go to, like the go-to guy or gal, right? That's who gives you the little wisdom, and hey, I'm stuck about this. What's up? And they'll guide you. And every one of us can use that kind of help. Now, obviously, we do these shows, these help as well, but it's not the same as you have someone that is monitoring with you along the way, every step of the way, and helping you get through the process, because it is brutal and it will be a shift. I mean, you need to change your patterns, right? I mean, there's certain things that you've been doing for years, and it is going to be a brutal wake. Wake up, hey, wake up, smack, boom. This is not where you used to be. But the price of it is that in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, you'd be like, whoa, this is not, this is great. I mean, your energy level is going to be different. You're right. You're going to be better presence to everybody around you. Your
Happens
girlfriend,
quick.
your wife, your husband, your family, your kids, you're going to be just at work. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to be a much more pleasant person because you have all this level of energy and you feel right about yourself. That's the other thing. You're going to have a higher level of self-esteem, so you walk like you mean it.
I used to be like at family events or something, like my aunt's house or something, and I wasn't like proud of who I was depressed. But like when you are like that, when you go like this, when you just like get all quiet and you have that like that blank stare, people are noticing that you are affecting them. They are being affected by that energy. They're like, "Is he okay?" Like, but they're not going to say anything. Some will, but some might not. Like when you show up to an event and you're like, "What's up, guys? How's everything going?" and you're proud of who you are positively affecting those around you. It's just those little things, and you think people don't notice, but they do. I've had people tell me numerous times, like, "Dude, you look so much happier. Like, you look like you're more awake." I was tired all the time because I just wanted to escape. I wanted to sleep. I wanted to go and eat. I didn't want to get up out of bed because I hated life.
Now you're full of energy, you're full of love of life, and you're happy and you're enjoying. And not only that, you're changing people's lives, and that's another satisfaction right there. By knowing that you're helping other people,
I love it.
make a difference in their life and be better people. So now let's talk about your program. What does that consist on in terms of timing and like if someone signs up with you, is that a particular time frame that they have to commit to? Is it and you mentioned something about having your own customized app and where you put all the stuff. So let's talk about that a little bit more in detail.
Yeah. So the first thing is, I mean, there's two programs you can go with. I have mindset coaching, which is strictly mindset. We get on a Zoom call, kind of like this. It's one on one, 60 minutes. I come up with your non-negotiable actions based on the things that you're going through. The second offer is mindset training and nutrition. That's when we dial in your workout nutrition um, program. That's when you're going to have the custom mobile app. I'll have your macros dialed in for you, and we'll get on weekly coaching calls. It's going to be me and the team, basically me and all my clients. We do a Q&A. and we break it down from any questions or concerns that you're having with regards to eating, working out, feeling a muscle. I have a certification in posture too, so some people might have like shoulder pain or something or knee pain, and I'll give them some corrective exercises too to help them relieve that if they have that. Um, and that's it. The basic plan. Most people go with the mindset, training, and nutrition, and they graduate to the mindset strictly coaching, right? Which is where we really dial in what it is that is on a deep core level. That's really the thing that's holding you back the most, and that's where we have the deep conversations too, like the things that really people don't want to talk about in front of other people. That's where we really dial that in. But most people go with the first one with the mindset, training, and nutrition.
Thank you. Now, this is available male, female. Is there an age particular limit if someone wants to join? Because I mean, not everybody is the same, so their journey is going to be different. I'm assuming. So everybody, so you work based on their, I guess, body and where they are at that particular
So the
moment.
thing is, yeah, so we do any age. The main thing is 18 and older, men and women. But the thing is I with if you guys watch my content is geared towards keeping you in alignment. So once you guys are in the program, you guys are going to have your blueprint, the things that must get done. And if you guys go on Instagram, you guys watch my posts, you guys are going to see the things that I'm saying and posting. I'm kind of keeping you from falling off. I'm kind of speaking to my audience, and I've had my clients tell me that they're like, "Yo, you're talking about exactly what I'm going through," and I'm like, "I'm talking to me, talking to my own self too, because those are the things that I've dealt with. Because I know what it's like to be like, all right, I gotta start, but you can't seem to stay consistent. You can't seem to get the ball rolling because we all know this information. It's very simple, but what is it that separates the people that do it and the people that just talk, right? The people I my caption today of my post was I've failed so many times that I became successful. That was my title. And it's true. I've failed numerous times. Like all of 2020, 2021, it was me missing my wake up time. It was me just not getting up on time because I was like, I can't do this. And I kept doing it over and over. I would keep setting my alarm, but I kept missing. And it was just like in this thing in the back of my head. Like if you guys have that thing in the back of your head, you got to drop this 10 pounds, drop these 20 pounds. That is your calling. Like, you know what's funny? The thing I have to say this with my tattoo, right? I got this like 3.5 weeks ago. When I went a year ago to get tattooed. When I went, I had the stencil put on my arm, which is the the ink they put on before they actually start tattooing. And I was not really confident in myself, and I was not confident in the fact of me doing it. And right before he put the needle in my arm, I was like, dude, I'm feeling very apprehensive right now. I'm like, I gotta stop. And I left. And I felt like such garbage. So what happened was, as time went on, I got more dialed in with myself, like with my personal development, and I got more confident. I began to think more clearly. I was like, yo, I deserve this. Like, I'm ready for this. And that's the point you guys have to get to. Because once you start doing this, you'll start to see things clearly and things that you know you deserve, not just that you want. You're going to take it. You're going to take it because you deserve it. Because the people that talk and don't take action, they know they don't deserve it. But the people that go and they show up and they just take the spot, those are the people that succeed. You guys are leaving it on the table. You have to just go and take it. And this is your stepping stone to get everything else. And that's literally what happened to me. Like I noticed it. I was like, "Oh my God. I could do anything because I have the discipline. I could become an astronaut. Like it doesn't matter because this is the stepping stone."
It's funny you said that because there is a movie on Netflix that's a true story based on a dude that wanted to go to space and become an astronaut, and I think he submitted his request to join the program for years, and literally years. It was like 13 years or something. Every year he would do it. They sent him no, and he keeps doing. And then he went in person and he says, I want to do it. And then it's a great story for someone talking about persistence and really have commitment and determination that you want to succeed and you want to be in something. There is no limit to what you can do, but you have to have the discipline, the consistency. And you said it, you have to be in it to win it.
We
Talk is
limit
cheap.
ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you said it earlier, like, you need to be involved. If you're not there, you're gonna miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? That's the expression. So it's the same thing. You also mentioned something about people that give up are the ones who fail. You never failed, actually. Those times that you didn't wake up, those don't fail. They were just tryouts. You kept trying to get into it until you got in. But had you stopped, then you would have
Exactly.
failed. And that's really the concept. So again, folks, none of us fail until we give up on whatever we are, working towards. And again, working towards means action, not talking about working towards. Like, we hear a lot, I'm gonna try. Don't try, just do. I mean, that's all there is. You can try, you're gonna do it and figure it out, not just try to do it, because you're never gonna get there. You'll be like, I'm gonna try later. I'm gonna try later.
I have a guy. He was like, he's a client of mine. I'm also an in-person trainer, right? But he was talking to me, and he was like, he was asking me like seven rapid fire, 7 questions, like all at once. I'm like, dude, wait, because he asked me. He's like, because he saw on TikTok, he saw the famous bodybuilder Chris Bumstead, the Mr. Olympia. He's like, if I do a bicep curl this way versus this way, is that go? I'm like, stop. Just this was like his eighth question in like a matter of like 5 minutes. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Okay, just master the meal plan, master this workout plan, and you will do just fine. Okay, later on down the road, we can do those other things, but just don't focus on supplementation if you can't even get your ass to the gym. Okay, don't focus on doing these sexy things when you can't even tie your shoes. Master the basics, and then you can start to do the other stuff. We
Chris,
have an
that's
application. We can't apply what we could go on the internet and look up any program, but we can't do it because we don't have the
true.
discipline.
That is true. It's all available. But it's funny that the example you gave is that's very typical. I mean, I've been in martial arts all my life, and one of the things that is clear in martial arts, and doesn't matter what arts you do pick, you know, you can't go into those fancy techniques like that you see, like, we watch. I mean, I follow all kind of, arts, and I mean, they're great. These people are expert at what they do, but they took him years and years to really have the finesse and to make it look like it's flawless and just a quick thing.
Right.
When you're gonna be brand new at this, it's gonna suck. You gotta be so slow. It's gonna be all messed up, and you gotta learn your basic. How do you do it? How you make your turns? How you do this? And I mean, that's basic as punches and blocks and kicks. I mean, that takes discipline. You stands before you can the floor. Work out if you doing BJJ or judo or any of those arts
Right.
that are. So you gotta work these basic elements before you can get into the fancy stuff, but it will get there. But you just got to get started and have, and that's why, like in martial arts, it's very disciplined. You got rank and you have, these levels that you cross before you can
Right.
get to that thing. But that goes about life in general. You're right. Someone joins the program, you need to crawl before you're gonna walk and before you can run. So you need to
Yep.
get there. And listen, there's nothing. If it was a pill or maybe like the Matrix, you just plugged in and like, I want to learn martial arts and become an expert in 10 seconds. That's a different story. But that doesn't work that way, folks. We gotta do the work and really feel that
I wouldn't
little.
even want that. Like I wouldn't even want that because the work that I did, the amount of days I strung together where I got up early and I did the hard shit, that's what does it.
Pleasure.
It's not even the result. It's not. Yeah. You'll get the abs, you'll get the butt. I swear to God, like that was the thing. It was
The
just doing,
journey.
yeah, literally, it's doing the hard I used to hate all of it. Like it's wild. You guys got to have structure though. That's it.
Well,
That was it.
Chris, thank you. And it's amazing, but because if you hear any great talks, out there. This whole on all success stories, they'll tell you it's not when you get to the success, it's the journey that got you there. That's really the flavor of it, And then when you start reminiscing, like thinking like what it took you to get there, because you can
That
become super rich, you can become super fit, and but it's that time. I mean, again, martial arts, it's the journey to get you to that rank and get
right.
into that final test and finally you get that belt. I mean, it's like, whoa, yeah, baby. Or like going to I don't know, MMA, whatever, becoming, into the super stock concept, and now you're under, the television sets and stuff, it becomes a whole thing. But it's the journey to get there. You just can't go overnight to do that. And you're right. It's if it was that quick, and by the way, anything that happens so quick, there's no pleasure into it.
No.
Anything that takes long, I mean, even cooking, and as simple as that, if you prepare your meals and you know what you do, you enjoy that
Yeah.
different. than if it's just wrapped and just dumped into a plate in front of you.
Like
So
when I get home from work and I'm starving, I used to just like throw spaghetti or something in a dish with meatballs or something, and I get a big glass of soda, and I'm just loaded up, loaded up, loaded up. I didn't put any, but when I get home and I'm starving and I'm like, nope, I still got to weigh my food. I still have to make sure, and I'm prolonging that time, even though I am home. By the time I sit down to eat that meal, it is so enjoyable because I prolonged it so much, right? To where I take so much pleasure in the littlest things, where all of us take things for granted, right? When you get up early, you take for granted the fact that you have a bed that you can sleep in and wake up. Like, you start to see things differently. Right now, it's just whatever's comfortable. But what's comfortable is what's hurting you. So we have to break you out of that. That's the thing.
let's get comfortable with uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Well. So, Chris, listen. I mean, this was a fun discussion. I've enjoyed it. We've exceeded our hour here, but it was just fun. And now you and I we talked about the name, and you mentioned it's a Greek. So I love Greek food. So is there anything about Greek food that we should know about in terms of like the health? Because I think it's healthy food. I don't know, but
Dude, you could eat it. Yeah, you could have it. You could have it. I had a sick gyro. Oh my God, there's a Greek place right by my house I went to. Um, you guys could do it. You guys could have Greek food. You guys could have Italian food at some points. It's just a matter of you got to make it work. You got to make it work within your means. There's a certain way you got to do it. And the thing is, that's why having that structure was the biggest thing I ever did. But yeah, as far as Greek food, I don't I mean, yeah, whenever I go out to eat in general, I'll make sure that I have room for it. But that's probably the most easiest food that you could eat when it comes to going out. Like, so if you're gonna go out and you still want to be good, have some Greek food. Chicken Slovaki, you guys can have gyros. You guys, as long as it fits, you guys are
don't make,
it's
don't
gonna
make
fit
me
the max.
hungry. It's getting late, man. I can't have any meals now. Well, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Well. So now, how can we have people connect with you? Where do they go to connect and I guess enroll in your program?
Yeah. Instagram, you guys can see, you guys will see every day. I'm on my stories. I'm posting the same, my positive acts I'm doing every day. It's Chris.Caravousanos. And then Facebook is Chris, and then my last name. You guys can find me there. So just follow me and watch my content. You guys will see what it's all about. You guys could just not even be in the program, and you guys could just watch, and you guys can take those little things from it, and you guys can start implementing it into your own life, and you guys will see. You guys will see it. So it's just
You know what
love
you
to build
said,
it.
Chris. You know what you said, Chris. Seeing is one thing, but you need someone to guide you. And you're right. The information is available out there, but it's having someone to oversee that information in the process. So they still gonna
That
need
was the
you.
biggest thing for me, because you guys could watch, but the thing is when you guys like, I have people like that too. They'll be like, Chris, I've been watching you, but like I'm still struggling with this. I'm like, you gotta come on, hop on the team, bro. Like, you gotta pay attention. Like, I invested $3,000 in my personal development program, right? My program is not $3,000, but I invested that much for myself, and it paid off, right? So, and I was 23 when I did that. So you guys, there's no excuse. You can't make your life can't work around your fitness. Your fitness can't work around your life. Life has to work around your fitness. Fitness has to be a priority. That's all it is. So your excuses are invalid, okay? Because you have to be willing to be like, this is it for me. Like, I have to make this work. It's the one investment that you can make where you're guaranteed a positive result. You could try stocks, you could try real estate, you could try this thing, that thing, but this investment in yourself, getting your workouts, which are guaranteed to help you with anxiety, your depression, your mental health, your macronutrients to help you with your health, your hormones, building muscle, and burning body fat. One of our biggest problems in America. It's guaranteed to help you, right? And that's what I say to people when they're like, can I try? I'm like, do you want to guarantee your way to get to the result, or do you want a maybe to get to your result? Because if you go with this structured meal plan that's going to help you, you're guaranteed to get there. If you're not dropping a pound or two per week, it's not the right plan for you. And this will, because it's just numbers. It's just going to add up to exactly what you need. So
Right. Well, thank you, Chris. And it's amazing. It's all fact, and you're right. I mean, fitness. If you're fit, everything else will align. And by the way, you touch on something that the best of the best ever have stated the same, which is you got to invest in yourself before. That's the best investment you can do before you can invest in anything else. And if you improve yourself, then everything else gets aligned exactly where you need it to be. So thank you for bringing that up, and that aligns for everything. Yeah, and of course without help, without your fitness, your health is not there. And without help, you're not going to be good to anything. Your performance is going to suck. Your relationships are going to suck, everything. And then you're not going to be in the best place that you would like to be. And we all want to be optimized, right? And be in optimal health. So why
We
not?
all know
Well, that's right. Well, so Chris, thank you so much. Anything that you want to leave our audiences with today?
the world is not as it is, the world is as you are. So if you want to fix your world, if you want to start making yourself be in a position where you can thrive in your life and actually feel good about your day to day, then you have to just make yourself a better human being. If you saw you walking down the street, what would you think about yourself? Right? Do you feel like when you look over, if you looked over at yourself when you were at the beach, how would you feel about yourself? This really requires you guys to drop your ego because the ego is the biggest thing that'll hold you where you are. It really is. Um, that's the only way you guys can be fully self aware, honest with yourself, and see your weaknesses. Because a lot of times you can't see your weaknesses because of your ego. That's why when you invest, you guys can see your blind spots. And that's where, just like how I saw my blind spots, you'll see the things that are standing out to you, and you're like, wow, I really shouldn't be doing that. And it's usually the thing that you never thought you would be the problem, but it actually is. Because we have these beliefs that are just instilled in us from when we were younger, right? It's beliefs instilled in us from just living life. And it's like these things need to be looked at and stripped away because that's why you keep going in circles.
Well, those are great words of wisdom, folks. I mean, you got to take those things to the bank. Definitely check out the Instagram with Chris, angles and link up to him and hopefully connect with him and see what if you need the help. I mean, definitely Chris can make that change and that difference with you and your health. So it's worth at least looking into, right? So let's not, be lazy and let's do it. All right. Well, Chris, thank you so much
Get
for
it?
being with us.
Thank you so
I
much for
really
having
had a
me.
great time.
Awesome.
Yeah, true pleasure, man. And by the way, I'm humbled that that I've learned a few things. You reminded a few things. You pumped me up a little bit more. So I'm a winner right now just by listening to you here. So thank you. Um,
Thank
all right,
you.
that's it. You're welcome. Well, that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed our nice little chat here. I mean, there's a lot of nuggets here to take home, so please do so. And again, Chris. Caravousanos, just connect with him on Instagram, and I'll have the link as well on the description of the show. So please do. And that's about it for now. We'll be talking soon. New day, new show, new guest. Bye for now.